Color guard, hold it, home.
Good morning. Could the Jewish War Veterans North Shore Post 220, this year's host organization, raising the American flag while our national anthem is sung by Peabody native Dana Sheridan.
Color guard, Fort of President Home.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, home. Wait, press.
Rabbi Perlman from Temple near Timid will now say the prayer.
As we join today, we pray, Heavenly Father, our country's sons and daughters, pride of our nation, have served, fought, and died so that we might be free. How truly immortal are those who pay the ultimate price for our liberty. Bless those whose blood is shed for the welfare of our country with eternal peace. Dear Lord, let the living not forget the ultimate price our veterans paid and why they paid that price. Let us always remember and be grateful that while freedom is anything but free, there are those who are willing to pay the ultimate price for God and country. Source of freedom. Comfort those who mourn the veterans who paid that ultimate price. Blessed are those who fought and died, for they shall be remembered. Spread over us your canopy of peace and repair us with your good counsel. rescue us. And let us together say, Amen.
We're honored here today to have the Honorable Mayor Ted Bettencourt.
Good morning. And welcome each of you to Peabody Veterans Reflection Park. To all of us, Memorial Day is a time for reflection, a time to think about the important things in life. Family, faith, friends, community. And with each passing year, my respect and admiration for the past generations continue to grow. The sacrifices that were made, the hardships that were endured, the strength and courage it took to make our country a better place for future generations. And it all begins with our veterans, our soldiers and their families, the men and women we honor today, the names of our city heroes inscribed on our monuments at City Hall and other monuments across our city, Peabody's heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice. While honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice during the war, Memorial Day also presents an opportunity for Americans to reflect upon the loss of life because of war. Those who make it home oftentimes suffer silently from the invisible wounds of war. It is estimated that at least 20% of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans suffer from PTSD. 50% of those with PTSD never seek treatment. Across America, 20 veterans a day lose their lives to suicide and other PTSD-related causes. Meanwhile, the Vietnam Memorial lists the names of more than 58,000 Americans who died in Vietnam. However, the wall does not document any of the names of the estimated 2.8 million U.S. veterans who were exposed in Vietnam to the chemical defoliant dioxin, also known as Agent Orange. Tens of thousands of those veterans went on to die from one or more of the 14 cancers caused by Agent Orange, with more dying each day. Today we recognize 4 of Peabody's fallen heroes. Private Richard Coy, United States Marine Corps. Specialist Scott W. Damon, United States Army. Private Daniel Buddy Flynn, United States Army. And Master Sergeant Peter J. Pavinsky, United States Air Force. We honor them with street signs dedicated in their memory. Each hero will be represented by family members who will tell their stories today at the ceremony in front of City Hall following the parade. And at a later date, these signs will be unveiled at the location of the family's choosing. To all of our veterans here today and to their families, thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for your patriotism. Thank you for your generosity of spirit. And I hope that all of you, your families and your comrades know that my generation and future generations are aware of what you have done for us and that we will never, ever forget. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Jewish War veteran Colonel Barry Flachinsky and Mayor Bettencourt will now place a wreath at the base of the flagpole honoring all Peabody citizens who made the supreme sacrifice of our country. Some people say there's no greater gift than to lay down your life for your fellow man. We who stand here know that it's a partial truth. It is because of that gift that other men and women were able to take up their lives for their fellows. This cemetery, as well as others in the city, have veterans buried who we honor today. There are 10 veteran organizations in the city of Peabody that the veterans can join. Each one is represented here today, and we'll read the names of the deceased members for the past year. A drum roll will be done after each name.
Color guard. Hey, hey, hey.
Jewish War Veterans, North Shore Post, 2020, Barry Lashinsky.
Jack Jonas. Irving Sachs. George Heller.
Veterans of Foreign Wars Commander Harry Gardner.
Paul Gardner. Michael Lupswitz. William Jim McGrath. Salvatore Mastrella. Paul Parsons. Stephen Thames.
Second Corps Cadets Commander Tom Moran.
Joseph Connery. Joseph Caviella.
'26 Yankee Division Veterans Association Commander John Stepanek.
Colonel Retired Joseph Connery Jr. Paul Sandborn. Sumner Israelson. Francis Newton Jr. Russell Coletti Sr. John Scrimmer.
American Legion Marion Ross.
Paul Gardner. Paul Parsons. Dorothy Stewart. Stephen Thames.
Disabled American War Veterans Commander Don White. Walter Booth.
Michael Lupusky. Salvador Moretti. Sorry, I can't read this. All those names have been read already, so please remember them.
Fleet Reserve Association Thomas Paris.
John Avegian, Thomas Ball, Simon Cohen, Joseph Jones Jr., Alfred Kennedy, John Colosto, Donald LeBeau, Maurice Marston, Richard Metropolis, Paul Parsons, Guardencio Roccaliberti, George Russo, Leo Spadafora, Stephen Thames, Carl Teed, Edward Toland, and Al Perdone.
Marine Corps League Commandant Stephen Coggins.
Ray Russell.
And Bill Malloy.
Portuguese American War veterans, Commander Bob Sousa. Colonel.
Portuguese American War vets, Post 1, have 0 deaths to report.
Polish Legion of American Veterans, Commander Walter Blazewicz.
Polish Legion of American Veterans, Post 63, has no deaths to report. May all veterans rest in peace.
The honor guard will now fire 3 rounds. The bugle plays taps.
Prepare the volley. Present. Halt. Order. Halt.
Today we honor those who have fallen. We thank them for remembering their sacrifice, remembering too that on this first day of boot camp they signed up to stand up next to them in combat and after. We hope that if the positions were reversed, they'd be standing here today remembering the sacrifice that they made. So on these noblest of days, take a moment, close your eyes, and remember those who went on to make the ultimate sacrifice. Let us always remember them. God bless you all. God bless America. This concludes this morning's ceremony. Please join us for today's parade and a very special ceremony at the City Hall as we remember 4 of Peabody's fallen heroes. Dismiss the troops.
Color guard. Honor guard. Follow.
And good morning, everyone, from downtown Peabody. I'm Deanne Healy with Peabody Main Streets, and joining me today is Natalie Maga with Peabody TV.
It's a gorgeous day for a parade.
And today we got a beautiful sunshine day, and the crowds are out here.
They are.
And they've been out here waiting for a little while now, so the parade is just about to get underway. I want to just take a moment to acknowledge all of those men and women who have given their lives for our country today.
It's just a day to reflect and honor all those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. I know a lot of people, it's their barbecue family time to get together, but I'm sure they're thinking of all those that have given their life for us.
Absolutely. And Nat, one of those things is, people get confused between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And, Memorial Day is the day to remember those who died giving their lives for our country. And Veterans Day honors everybody who has served.
Exactly.
So there's that just little bit of a distinction that sometimes people just don't always realize.
Right.
So it's a very somber day, but it's important, I think, for us to remember everybody.
Yes. Yeah. And they've been very busy, Deanne, too. I understand from the veterans agent that the organizations went out to over 31 cemeteries within the city and laid down 6,000 flags.
Wow. And prior to the parade kicking off, there were some ceremonies going on earlier this morning,
Yep,
right?
it was up at Cedar Grove Cemetery. They had their ceremony up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of proud of our city of Peabody because we really do pay respect to all our
Absolutely.
veterans.
As we're waiting for the parade route to make its way to downtown Peabody here, just take a few minutes. There's been so much going on downtown here on Main Street. Just in the last couple of months, we've had a couple new businesses open. Just this weekend, the much-awaited Granite Coast Brewery Company opened.
I would buy it. I couldn't believe the line. It was out all the way down the street. It was awesome.
Absolutely. So they had a very busy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They took the day off today. They're not open on Monday, so good luck to them. But we're glad to have them on board. It's going to be a great place. I think it's going to do a lot for downtown in terms of also sending some business to the local restaurants.
Wonderful.
Because they don't serve food, so they're encouraging people to, stop at a local restaurant, do some takeout, bring it over to the brewery, and come in and try one of their craft brews. Main Streets has been a great program for the community. What a lot of people don't realize is it's actually a national program that the City of Peabody adopted. We are separate from the city, though. We are a 5013C organization. Right now, we're all volunteer.
Wow.
And so we've been in place for just about 3 years now, officially as an organization. And so what a Main Streets program does for a community is looks to focus on 3 different areas. Economic development, which trying to attract people to invest in downtown. The design, which is responsible for the look and feel, that would be, the antique lampposts, the signage, the flowers, that type of thing. And then also, then promotions. And that's the group that, hosts some of the events that are going on downtown. I think most people are familiar now with the success of our pop-up pubs.
They're amazing.
So it's a fun way to use the plaza in front of the courthouse and, bring the community together. And I think what we saw in March when we did the pop-up ice bar, we're not only just attracting people from Peabody, we're attracting people from communities all over the North Shore now.
Yeah, hey, the word is out.
Yeah. So, we also kind of joke around and wonder, what are we going to do when we outgrow the plaza? But that'll be a good problem to have. And so, while those events are fun and they're good community gathering things, I think it's important to know that the premise behind them is to demonstrate that if you have something going on downtown, people will come down. We get a whole bunch, we get 800, 900 people downtown. They frequent the downtown restaurants, so, showcases them. And guess what? We don't ever hear any complaints about parking.
No, I have not heard anything either.
Lots of people, places, groups coming together, to really kind of, turn things around downtown. And I think we're really starting to see kind of the fruits of our labor and the work we've put in for the last, 3 or more years before we were officially a Main Streets program.
I guess, Deanne, the parade is just coming down at the top of the hill on Main Street.
We're going to be leading off with the police motorcade or police escort and the fire engine. Peabody Fire Department. We have such a wide assortment of groups that participate, in today's parade. It's not only representatives from our veterans groups and our armed services, but also, we'll be seeing the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the marching bands, and it's nice to have that pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, it's really good.
And there, coming into view, is the Veterans Council leading off.
Being led by Lieutenant Commander Robert Dunn and the Jewish War Veteran Commander Barry Lachinsky. I believe, as I said, Lieutenant Commander Robert Dunn, and that's Beverly Griffin Dunn's husband. The Veterans Council was a little bit saddened this week. They lost one of their own members.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Commander Al Prusholm passed away, and he was going to be at the parade. So, yeah, they were very sad. I believe the engines that we have, Deanne, is engine 4 and ladder 1 from our fire department. Of course, being led by our motorcycle officers.
And the kids get so excited to see the
They do.
fire engines.
They
and,
do.
And the police motorcycles. And right behind the ladder truck is the Veterans Council. We see in coming into view is Mayor Betancourt and some of the elected officials have just passed by.
Okay. North Shore Post.
The police color guard is coming up now.
Okay. And that's being led by Sergeant Gerolman and Chief Griffin. And then behind them, you have Brian Colella, Andy Sweeter, Dave Betancourt, and Mark Sayer. And I believe this is going to be Sergeant Gerolman's last time. He's retiring.
Oh, well, congratulations to him.
Yep.
Oh, you can hear the bagpipers.
This is being led by Chris Darling. We have Captain John Darling, Lieutenant Steve Pellegrini, Firefighter Sean Dolan, Captain Dave Lamangello, and Ronald Ransom. I remember years ago when the city councilors would be marching in the Memorial Day Parade, they'd be in white tuxedos, and we would get boutonnieres for all of them. It was really a big
I think we
production.
need to talk about bringing that back, Nat.
I think we should.
And following them now, you see Mayor Betancourt holding his son Brady.
Oh,
and his
how
couple of
awesome is
daughters there,
that?
right?
Very nice.
Along with our other elected officials.
Yeah. I see Representative Walsh there.
And then
And
coming
also
up
Representative
is
Speliotis is there
What's that?
also.
And then,
Oh my God,
and now we have the, looks like the Veterans Department truck with the Gold Star Family Float.
We're honoring Private Flynn, Master Sergeant Peter Pavinsky, Specialist Scott Damon, Private Richard Coy.
Congratulations to those families.
Yes. Yeah.
We got the Veterans vehicle that just passed by. And you can hear the marching band in the distance.
I think this is the ROTC.
Very talented group of young.
They are. Look at them.
Counselor Ann Manning getting into the spirit.
Oh, this is the 1949 police cruiser. And I believe Officer Coop is driving this.
And you know, Nat, next weekend, downtown Peabody will be hosting the annual Classic Car Show.
Oh.
People can come down
They're
and
gonna
see
be
the
part of
antique police car along with a host of other
Wow.
cars. This year it'll be on Railroad Ave.
I love seeing those old vehicles.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. We will have a DJ and some kids activities on Leather City Common. We'll have some cars out on the Courthouse Plaza, and then Railroad Ave will be closed down for people to walk
Oh,
through.
that sounds like a great time, Deanne.
We see that I think the Girl Scout troop is just coming into view here on our camera.
Well, this looks like it might be the Deer vehicle, right? It's being driven by Rick Cochran, and he has McGruff with him.
This is everyone's favorite.
Yeah. And from what I understand, they've taken it and turned it into a 9/11 memorial vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So here comes the Polish Legion of American Veterans and Auxiliary coming into view.
I bet our one and only Lola Buster is part of that.
The Peabody Light Plant truck is all decked out with the flags and the bunting.
Nice.
And Malia's towing.
Malia's towing. Oh, look.
Fun to see the kids wave. This is the North Shore Stompers. They got a little furry friend with them today, too.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness.
Here come the Girl Scouts coming into view. Looks like the blue banner represents the Daisies, the youngest of the Girl
Yes.
Scouts, carrying their banner. It looks like they got quite a crew of Girl Scouts following
They
them up.
do. What? This is so cute.
But it's a great way to start the kids off with, you know, getting them involved in the
Yeah.
community and being proud to give back and display their civic pride.
Yeah.
I used to be a Girl Scout leader, and the troops always had such a blast making their banners and decorating them.
They do. They look awesome. Now we're into like, these would be the brownies.
Yes. And coming up right behind them is the Boy Scouts.
They did a good job walking that whole parade route.
They did. Followed by the Boy Scouts here.
Yeah.
We got Pack 88, proudly showing their fancy banner there. And then following right behind them is Alhambra vehicle and members, right?
The Marine Corps League going by now too. Is that one of our Council on Aging buses going by now, Deanne?
Yeah, looks that way. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but it's a way for them to also allow some of the veterans who may not be able to walk the whole route
To be able to,
participate in
yes,
the parade.
yeah. Are they
The Veterans
coming?
of Foreign War group is just passed by.
The band just passing us, Deanne, Banda Recreative. They've been opening the International Festival since the first one in 1983, and they continue up till today to kick off the festival. And here they are with us on Memorial Day. Well, Deanne, I think looks like we're right at the end here. And I think they'll be going across to City Hall now to do their ceremony
Right.
in front of City Hall.
Moving. So thank you for joining us today for the annual Memorial Day Parade. Nat, always a pleasure to be hanging
My
out and
pleasure,
spending the morning
Deanne.
with you.
Deanne,
And
yeah.
we'll do it again next year.
Yes, please, yes. We'll give a shout out to the Peabody Access staff for
We're doing a great job as always. Tune in for this parade. It'll be replayed throughout the week, I'm sure, and lots of other great programming that is going on that can connect you to the community. So, and we'll see you soon.
enjoy the
Thank
rest
you.
of the day.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'd like to take a moment of silence. First of all, if you guys could all silence your phones. I'd like to take a moment of silence for Senior Chief Al Perdone, who had over 38 years of service in the Navy. Senior Chief Perdone was the president of the Fleet Reserve Association here in Peabody. and he was the Veterans Council chaplain. He died last weekend. When I was growing up on Memorial Day, it was a day of fun, start of summer and activities. After joining the Navy 27 years ago, I discovered the knowledge of Memorial Day's true meaning. For those who do not know, Memorial Day is an American holiday observed the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving the United States military. Originally known as Decoration Day, originated in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. Today is a culmination of a month of preparation of flagging streets, street corners, memorial markers, headstones of our comrades in arms, shipmates, friends, and loved ones who served and died. Some made the ultimate sacrifice, others came home and died later. If you get a chance, walk through the flagged cemeteries. Take a look at the veterans who have died years ago. Some of these veterans no longer have relatives to tend their graves or to even remember them. Say a prayer for them. I'd like to thank all of you who greet the veterans with a thank you for your service today. However, remember today is not for the living, it is for the dead. And I'd like to introduce Colonel Alan Lehman. He's the commander of the Jewish War Veterans.
Please stand while the American flag is raised and our national anthem is sung by Peabody native Nicole Freeman. Peabody Veterans Council member Shirley Bogdan will offer the opening prayer.
Okay. First.
Heavenly Father, ruler over nations, we ask Thee for Your blessings on these events today in Peabody. We have come to honor those who have given so much. Remember, Thanksgiving is a time to give thanks for the things we have today. Memorial Day is a time to give thanks to those who made that all possible. So we pray to You, Lord, to guide us so that we may show proper reverence for their sacrifices and gratitude for what they have given up. In memory of each of those heroes, we offer our prayers. We ask that You bless us all with peace in our days. Help us as a nation to measure success in life, not by how many things we have, but instead what kind of people we are and how we treat one another. We ask this in Your name, dear Lord. Amen.
morning. I'm Mayor Ted Betancourt, and it's a beautiful day. So wonderful to have all of you here today as we honor those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice here in Memorial Day. I have some remarks, but before I do, we have some special guests that I wanted to introduce and recognize. A number of elected officials, our State Senator Joan Lovely, thank you, Senator, for being here. Our State Representative Ted Spiliotis, thank you, Ted. Our State Representative Tom Walsh, thank you, Tom. Our Council President, Ward 1 Councilor John Turco. Ward 2 Councilor Peter McGinn. Ward 3 Councilor and honored veteran Jim Mitsoulas. Ward 4 Councilor Ed Charest. Ward 5 Councilor Joel Saslaw. Ward 6 Councilor Mark O'Neill. We have our Councilor at Large, Tom Gould, Ryan Melville, an honored veteran, Ann Manning Martin, Tom Rosignol. And from our Electric Light Commission, honored veteran Bob Wheatley. Tom Paris is here. Charlie Bonfanti, another honored veteran. Tom D'Amato. From our school committee, Beverly Griffin Dunn, Andrew Arnodis, John Olympio, and Joe Amico, and Jared Hockman. Thank all of you for being here today. We have a very special guest, somebody who is one of the hardest working people I know. He's been an outstanding representative for those of us here in the city of Peabody, an honored veteran and a fine gentleman, our Congressman Seth Moulton.
Mayor, thank you very much. Jack, maybe you could use that. His phone's bigger than mine, so I'm going to use that as a paperweight today. It's an honor to be with you here today. Thank you all for coming out and honoring our veterans, and most specifically those who haven't come home. I'd like to take a moment to tell a story about one of my heroes from the Iraq War. Memorial Day is a time when Americans are supposed to evaluate war's true human cost. And for those of us who have experienced it firsthand, it's very personal. It is not a cost many of us keep paying long, and it is a cost that many of us keep paying long after we come home and our friends do not. As I'm reflecting this weekend on the brave Americans we've lost, especially in our ongoing wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, I'm also thinking about people like my friend James Hassel, who didn't die in Iraq, but died because of it. James was in my 2nd platoon in the war. He saw some of the toughest fighting when we were in the Battle of Najaf in 2004. Our platoon was pinned down in a building when one of my Marines, Ryan from Vermont, was hit with a grenade. Ryan's wounds looked bad on the outside, but his internal bleeding was worse. And James recognized that someone needed to act. Without hesitating, he put Ryan on his back and carried him through about 60 yards of machine gun fire to an area safe enough to get Ryan evacuated. James saved Ryan's life at great risk to his own. A couple years later, as James started a new chapter in his life, a reporter from the newspaper out in California, the Orange County Register, interviewed him about returning home from war. And he told the reporter, "All I want to do is live the American dream that I fought so hard to protect. All I want is a little bit of a normal life." James also wanted to continue serving. And so he went to school, got a degree in nursing, and landed a great job working in an emergency room so he could continue saving lives back here at home. But he also dealt with post-traumatic stress. And so he went to the VA for help. But rather than give him the counseling he requested, they just gave him medication. So much that just by taking the pills he was prescribed, James died of a heart attack when he was 30 years old. James is an American hero, and I'm thinking of him today because he's one of my personal heroes, and he was my friend. James is also on my mind because our country needs to remember that even those who make it from home from war can still die because of it. James's death was not a suicide, but every day in this country, suicide kills 20 veterans. Opioids are taking veterans' lives too. Veterans are twice as likely as non-vets to die from an accidental opioid overdose. We must honor those lives today as well. Memorial Day is a day to remember those who have lost. It is not a day for calls to action or for policy debates, so I won't say any of that. But I will say this. Live up to James's dream. Spend time with your family. Enjoy this amazing weather. Light the grill or watch a game. That's how James would have wanted us to honor him. But also remember to pause and reflect on the Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Try to learn their names and their stories so that their sacrifices are not forgotten. And come tomorrow, on Tuesday, let's honor those we lost by recommitting ourselves to making sure we don't lose anyone else. Because the wounds of war are not just the ones we can see. And every veteran deserves a country that fights as hard for them as they fought for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman, and thank you for your service. To all of us, Memorial Day is a time for reflection, a time to think about the important things in life, our family, our faith, our friends, and our community. With each passing year, my respect and admiration for the past generations continue to grow. The sacrifices that were made, the hardships that were endured, the strength and courage it took to make our country a better place for future generations. And it all begins with our veterans, our soldiers and their families, the men and women we honor today. The names of our city heroes inscribed on our monuments here at City Hall and other monuments across our city. Peabody's heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice. While honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice during war, Memorial Day also presents an opportunity for Americans to reflect upon the loss of life because of war. Those who make it home oftentimes suffer silently from the invisible wounds of war. It is estimated that at least 20% of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans suffer from PTSD. 50% of those with PTSD never seek treatment. Across America, 20 veterans a day lose their lives to suicide and other PTSD-related causes. The Vietnam Memorial lists the names of more than 58,000 Americans who died in Vietnam. However, the wall does not document any names of the estimated 2.8 million United States veterans who were exposed in Vietnam to the chemical defoliant dioxin, also known as Agent Orange. Tens of thousands of veterans went on to die from one or more of the 14 cancers caused by Agent Orange, with more dying every day. Today, in Peabody, we recognize 4 of our fallen heroes. Private Richard Coy, United States Marine Corps. Specialist Scott W. Damon, United States Army. Private Daniel Buddy Flynn, United States Army. Master Sergeant Peter J. Pavinsky, United States Air Force. We honor them today with street signs dedicated in their memory. Each hero will be represented, they're represented today by family members and friends, and one will tell you about their loved one. At a later date, these signs will be unveiled at the location of the family's choosing. I'd like to first introduce our families that are here today. First family I would like to introduce, and I would ask our Executive Director from the Peabody Municipal Light Plant, Chuck Orfanos, and members of the light plant to come forward. And family of the Master Sergeant Peter J. Pavinsky, United States Air Force.
Yes, Peter, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very much and your son to be honored today on Memorial Day. He's a true hero, and I want to thank you and your family for being here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathy Kavinsky. I am PJ's stepmom, and I just want to let everyone know he was the most wonderful human being that God ever put on this earth. He made it easy for me to just love him, and he was known as the jokester on his squadron, and he was just a good man. He was an area gunner on a Black Hawk, and they were search and rescue in Afghanistan. He did a few tours there. He did Africa. He went there a couple times. It's just he did have PTSD, and he did die by suicide. And it's just an awful thing. He tried. He got counseling, and his wife did everything she could to help him. Stacy, she couldn't be here today, and we're just devastated. September 18th, 2017, he passed away. And we just want everyone to know we have to take care of our veterans when they come home. Not only just the veteran, but their family. They come back, they've seen things and done things that they need help. And I want everyone to know we need to help our veterans. And I appreciate everyone, man and woman, that has fought, that is fighting, and who has passed away. Thank you for your service. And we just love you all. Thank you.
I am Peter Pavinsky. I just want to say a few words as well. My son PJ, he loved his country, he loved aviation. I was 45 years old when he died. And he had 20 years in the U.S. Air Force. He's still currently in the Air Force. He had 5 tours: Afghanistan, Iraq, combat search and rescue, a Black Hawk helicopter. And like my wife Kathy said, he was kind of like I am. You know, we're kind of practical jokers, and we like to joke around, and we always had fun like that. But the last time he came home, we could tell there was a big change in him, because he was kind of becoming reclusive. He was trying to being on his own more, and he wasn't the same person that he was during the hurricane that went through Florida. My daughter that lives in Florida went and stayed with PJ and his wife Stacy, because the hurricane was going through their area. So I'd call there, and then I'd say to my daughter Carrie, I'd say, "Oh, Carrie, how's it going?" And I could tell by her voice it wasn't going too good. I says, "Carrie, what's the matter, honey?" And she says, And she said, "It's PJ." I said, "What's the matter?" She just said that PJ just stays in his room. He might come out for a few minutes, but just goes back in his room. Every time I called, I couldn't get to talk to him. He wouldn't talk. And then, as my wife Kathy says on that fateful morning, that we got the call from my daughter-in-law Stacy that he died that night and that he took his life. It's been totally devastating to all of us, as well as everybody else that lost loved ones due to the conflicts, PTSD, and suicide. But so we'd just like to say once again, thank you to Steve. This guy here, Steve Patton. There's nobody better to help veterans. This man works night and day. There's nothing he wouldn't do for veterans. He won't take no for an answer. He's gone way above and beyond what anybody could ever do for us. And we love him. We think the world of him, and we'll always be so grateful to him and to the city of Peabody, where I grew up. This is my hometown. And to Mayor Betancourt and all my friends and that supported me, the Light Plant, and all my other friends that supported our whole family. And like I say, once again, we'd like to say thank you to all the veterans that are still currently serving, that have served in the past, and of all the fallen veterans and their family as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Say hello.
Hi.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good then? Yeah. Thank you.
I'd like to now ask the family of Specialist Scott W. Damon, United States Army, his family and friends to please come forward. Take a picture first.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Erin Klemchuk. I'm Scott's sister. I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Betancourt for honoring my brother this way, and Steve Patton for everything he has done for our family, and for fighting to keep Scott's legacy alive for his 3 boys. Scott was my older brother. There were 13 years between us, but I never noticed. He served for 6 years in the United States Army as a Black Hawk mechanic. During his tour in Iraq, he flew with a medical evacuation unit, flying into the battlefield to get injured servicemen and women. In Afghanistan, they dropped troops off into the mountains. During both deployments, he was the gunner on the door. During these deployments, Scott was in 3 helicopter crashes or hard landings. Looking at Scott, you would not be able to see the effects of deployment in those crashes, but on the inside, he had a traumatic brain injury and PTSD. Scott put all of that aside for his 3 boys, Anthony, Jake, and Jackson. They were his pride and joy. Whether it be digging in the yard or reading bedtime stories, Scott was always there. When we lost Scott, we lost a huge part of our family. He was an amazing son, brother, grandson, cousin, uncle, friend, and most importantly, dad. Thank you for remembering Scott in this way and keeping his legacy alive for his 3 boys. He will forever be our American hero.
Anybody else would like to say anything? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I did it out. Oh, you want to just hold it? Oh, okay. Want to come back, hold Scott signing it?
I'd like to ask the family and friends of Private Richard Corr, United States Marine Corps, to please come forward.
First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and Steve and the city of Peabody for honoring Richard and all the other veterans. Richard was in 2 tours of Vietnam. He was a radio operator, right in the thick of everything. He saved his platoon when one of his fellow soldiers caught on a tripwire, and he pushed him off the tripwire. But he ended up getting ripped open by a grenade. But he still kept going. He still wanted to keep in the service, and he did. He was a survivor, and he was a survivor right up till the very end on January 12th, 2017, when he passed away from kidney failure. He's someone that I'm always going to remember and never forget. He was a great uncle, he was a great father, and he was a great husband. Thank you.
And I now like to ask the family and friends of Private Daniel Buddy Flynn, United States Army, to please come forward.
My brother, Daniel F. Flynn, was killed on August 13th. What? August 13th, the day before the war ended. We did not know we had been out celebrating the war being over, and 2 weeks later, I was out in front of my house. I was 11 years old, and I seen the boy riding his bike, who I knew, and I seen him go up the steps with the telegram in his hand. I read the telegram over my mother's shoulder. He was only 18 years old, but he always thought himself as kind of a hero, and he ended up being one. So I just want to thank everybody here for this tribute to him.
Anybody else like that?
No. Let me not go through it.
Again, thank you to the family and friends of our 4 Peabody heroes that we honored today. Master Sergeant Peter J. Pavinsky, United States Air Force; Private Richard Coy, United States Marine Corps; Specialist Scott W. Damon, United States Army; Private Daniel Buddy Flynn, United States Army. And again, those street signs that you saw today, we will be meeting with the family and picking those locations very shortly. To all of our veterans here today and their families, thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your strength, your patriotism, your generosity of spirit. I hope that all of you, families, comrades, know that my generation and future generations are aware of what you have done for us, and that we will never, ever forget. I wanted at this time, every year at Memorial Day, ask some of our best and brightest from our 8th grade at the Higgins Middle School to come forward and read the proclamation from the governor. I wanted to ask Isabella Turco, Michaela Alprin, and Carson Brown to please come forward. Each of the 3 today are exemplary students and just fine young men and women. Carson and Michaela are the ambassadors for the Higgins Middle School. They've just ran an extremely successful clothing drive, and I believe, were we tops in the state? Tops in the state of all the middle schools, yes. Outstanding students, outstanding athletes. Isabella Turco, principal's list, which is the top that you can be. She was the top 8th grader in the spelling bee and was recently named the Volunteer of the Year for the National Junior Honor Society. So I wanted to ask Carson, Michaela, and Isabella to read the governor's proclamation.
Whereas, while the nation was still recovering from the horrors of the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor those Union and Confederate soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas, after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country, renamed Memorial Day. The last Monday in May is when people remember and honor the memory of all the men and women who fought and died in all of American wars and conflicts.
And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts citizens have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life, and whereas their legacy of patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all our Americans, and whereas it's appropriate that Massachusetts citizens remember the bravery of those who gave their lives so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of freedom. Now, therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 27, 2019 to be Memorial Day, and urge all the citizens of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston this first day of May in the year 2019, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 242nd, by His Excellency Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth, Karen E. Polito, Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, and William Francis Galvin, Secretary of the Commonwealth.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you. Great job. And I just want to take a brief moment to thank Steve Patton, our outstanding veterans agent, for all of his hard work. On behalf of all of our veterans, their families, today's event, I wanted to recognize Ken Hopkins and Lee Levitt from the Veterans Office as well for all their hard work. Our outstanding Peabody Veterans Council for the wonderful parade and all the important work they do for us year-round. Thank you to our Veterans Council. I want to thank our police officers and firefighters. So many of them are honored veterans. Thank you for their work on behalf of the city. And I wanted to ask our veterans agent, Steve Patton, to come up, and I wanted to ask Dana Sheridan to come forward. Dana?
Thanks for coming up, Dana. I thought maybe you could just take a second and explain to the crowd how it is you came to sing our national anthem at Cedar Grove every year for us.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Dana Sheridan, for those of you who don't know me. I was born and raised in Peabody. Both of my parents taught in Peabody, recently retired. And so what happened was when I was a freshman in high school, I was always that girl that wanted to be able to sing the national anthem. I come from a very long line of military people in my family. My grandfather was a World War II Navy veteran. All of my dad's brothers served or currently are serving in the military. And though I will not be in the military, I choose to be able to serve my country through being able to sing patriotic music, and it's something that I truly enjoy. So John Simmons, the current choir director, brought this to my attention and said, would you like to sing the national anthem? And I said I would love to, and I've been very fortunate to be asked every year to come back, and it's truly a pleasure to be able to sing the national anthem every year. For those veterans that are in the audience right now, thank you so much for everything that you do. I choose to take Memorial Day to listen. For those of you who have stories to share of your fallen comrades, for your stories that you share, I choose to take today to listen. So thank you for letting me sing the national anthem all these years. I choose to listen to your stories. You are heard. You are important. Thank you so, so much.
And if you could hold this. Thank you. And then get a picture. And Dana's going to sing a quick song for us.
Please feel free to sing along. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh, God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies,
to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you. And God bless you and God bless America. Thank you.
We now call the attention. The mayor and Jewish war veteran Donna Lehman come forward and place the wreaths. Thank you. The Marine Corps League Detachment 127 Honor Guard will fire the rifle salute and play taps. Peabody Veterans Council member Ms. Bogdan will offer the closing prayer. Or not. Commander Dunn.
Bow your heads. Lord, please protect all of us. Remember all of our dead. And pray that no one else dies. We ask this in the name of the Lord. Amen.
Thank you for attending this year's Memorial Day ceremony. This concludes the program.